What in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, man? It's your boy Big Low Country. I hope everybody out there is doing great tonight. For everybody out there that don't know me, my name is Big Low Country. I'm just old country boy, former football coach that love to sit around and talk about sports. You could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us, and we definitely and greatly appreciate that. First of all, if you're watching the show after we've gone live already, make sure that you put a what in the world, Bo, in the comments. Also, make sure that you share the channel with your friends and family. And if this is your first time checking us out, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Definitely excited about the show tonight. We didn't get a chance to get together last week. The old country boy, man, look, old boy wide open, old dog wide open. You know, all over the place. Ain't no telling where the old country boy gonna be. But first of all, let's show love to everybody that's showing love to us. I see Joseph Thornton in here. He got that oil for me. What's going on, Joseph? Hope you're doing good tonight, fam. Rockman. What in the world, Bo? Hope you're doing good. Deshaun Caswell says, what in the world, Bo? Country Silk, new single. Falcons men make better lovers. Yee, get this. Hey, Bo. You know, we ain't bragging, but hey, it is what it is. I ain't, I ain't been tell my secrets. Paul Start Falcon, what in the world, Bo? What's going on, man? It says good evening, Bows and Boettes. Tony Wright's in here. He says, what up, Lo? I heard you just got back in town this afternoon from a quick flight to Seattle with Julio Jones and Associates. You're finalizing a huge real estate properties deal worth 60. I am new to this news, Bo. I did not know anything about this. I think you're bragging. I think that's what it is, Tony Wright. I think you're bragging. Tony Wright also says, but all jokes aside, we definitely have some Falcons football to discuss with the June 1st release date coming up tomorrow. I hope I have a couple of questions for you and folks in the chat. Well, that's what it's all about, Bo. It's all about the coaching staff collaborating together and talking about the common goal, which is, some good Falcons football or just football in general, because we just love not just football, but sports. We love it all, right? 330's in here. Much love to 330. I already know I'm going to be seeing him up in the bins this year. D. Lawton says, what in the world, Bo? Big Low, the best Falcons content creator and quarterback. Man, I'm not the best content creator, Bo. There's a lot of folks out there better than me. Tay Deal. What in the world, Bo? What's going on? Jay Miles in here. Nate Bill, what's going on, family? Hope you're doing good. Alfonso, Charles B, Justin Swisher, what in the world, Bo? Edward Mitchell, what in the world? Jonathan Rozier, much love, much love. King Rich, much love to you, Bo. Hope everybody out there is doing good, man. Hope everybody out there is doing good. So, Boomer the Falcon, Raymond Collins, and everybody else is in here. You already know, man, we're going to have a good time tonight. So, the thing is that what we're doing tonight, we're at that point where we're trying to figure out, exactly how good this team is going to be. I think they announced one day last week, if I'm not mistaken, or earlier this week, we were 100 days to the start of the football season to kickoff. And from now until then, the only thing we could do was hope, wish, and pray. That's all we could do. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to do just that. We're going to hope, wish, and pray, and look at a couple of things that we got going on, and just kind of look into everything and see what we could do, what this team is capable of. So what we're going to do tonight, guys, we're going to look at PFF, and this is a complete and utter disclaimer. We all know PFF isn't the end all be all, right? For my folks in the back, we all know PFF is not the end all be all. But one thing that we do know is that it does accurately keep a track of the goals and and what you're supposed to accomplish on every play. And if you accomplish it, you get a higher grade. If not, it's one of those cases where the grade gets down into the yellows and into the reds. We want greens and blues. That's what we want. So we're going to look at this Falcons roster. We're also going to look at the rookies and see how they did in college with their PFF grades, what they excelled at, what they could do a little bit better at, and just see how it may translate to the NFL. This is going to be a fun show. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to look and I'm going to look into seeing what we could do about talking about these 2023, 2023 Atlanta Falcons, bro. Trans Uno's in here. What in the world, bro? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is in here. Much love to you, fam. Hope you're doing good tonight. Jay Miles says Big Low and Julio Jones making moves again. Hello. Hey, I wish, bro. Birdo's in here says, what in the world, bro? The album cover is fire. Look, I've been telling y'all something, boy. Birdo is crazy, man. So as y'all know, I'm on I'm striving to be your next quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. You know, the it's starting to become evident that the Falcons don't want me, right? So I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, sometimes things happen. I mean, I ain't gonna say sometimes things happen for a reason. So we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about moving forward, exactly how we're gonna approach um that situation. Jay Miles in here shouting out Birdo. Tony Wright says, no, there's a rumor out that the Falcons will trade the 2024 fourth round draft pick to the Denver Broncos for wide receiver 2 Cortland Sutton. If that is the case, I think about Cortland Sutton, he just doesn't really stay healthy. Like, what is it? The last 2 seasons he's had the injury issues. Now, what was that? 3 seasons ago or 2 seasons ago, if I'm not mistaken, he was a baller. He looked like a legit wide receiver 1. But I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see, and that's the benefit of this show. That's the beauty of why we're going to do this show tonight, Tony. Right? Because we're going to look and see. Once again, we know PFF is not the end all be all, but we're going to kind of take a look and see exactly what this team can improve on and what they can do a little bit better at. So, y'all, let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, put a 1 in the chat. Now, if you can see my screen comfortably, put a 1-1 in the chat. Julio Jones 11 in the chat. If you could do that, I would definitely and greatly appreciate that. Because we're gonna take a look here and see what we got going on. Trent says, you think Akuda are gonna be decent for us this year, Big Low? I can tell you something. I think Akuda's going to make some money in 2023. I think this might be the place. Him wanting out of Detroit, I feel like it might have been the perfect time for him to leave, and I think that he might be making some money. So, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look. Skylar Thomas is in here. What in the world, Bo? Tony Wright says, I'd rather trade a 5th round pick to the New York Jets for Corey Davis. He does know the system. Real Talk Sports in here. What in the world, Bo? Coach Padres in. It's a party now. Brian Peoples in here. What in the world, Bo? Hope you're doing good tonight, man. You already know what time it is. Jay Miles says, I love Sutton when he's healthy. I had him on a few fantasy teams. Cortland Sutton is legit. Like, don't sleep on Cortland Sutton. One love's in here. Much love to you, man. Well, I don't know if that's one love or one of. Just kind of putting everything together. So, all right. So everybody's kind of telling me what they got going on as far as them seeing the screen. Padre says, who is the young Thundercat and what has he done with Big Low Country? Hey, bro, we got to, sometimes, look, you got to look like a quarterback. You got to. Oh man. All right. So I see a few 1s, but it looks like we don't have as many 11. So I'm gonna make my screen a little bit bigger. So we're gonna look at the screen. We're gonna look at the offense and the defense separately instead of looking at both of them at the same time. Okay, One Love. Okay. He got to hit One Love. Much love to you, One Love, man. Much love to you. That's what we all need to have. One love, bro. Much love to you. All right. So I got that a little bit bigger, so I hope y'all can see it a little bit better. So first, let's take a look at the offense. So what I did was, whenever I pulled this offense up, in 12 personnel, right? So that 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. That's what we have. So you got Jonnu Smith, Kyle Pitts, right? Then you got Mac Hollins, Drake London. Running back, of course, we got Bijan Robinson back there. Desmond Ritter, it's the quarterback. until it's big low country. So offensive line is very interesting. Who would have thought that in 2023 the Atlanta Falcons would have one of the best graded offensive lines in the NFL? Who would have thought? Whoever would have thought that? So, I mean, you got Jake Matthews, you got Matthew Bergeron. And we're actually going to go back and look at Matthew Bergeron's grades at Syracuse. You got Drew Dalman. Drew Dalman, he get kind of iffy with the snaps sometimes, but I mean, he's still in that top half of centers in the league, and I feel like he can still get better. I was kind of cheering for a Ben Jones pickup because I want that um uh I want that Alex Mack type signing. But look, if we keep Drew Dalman, that is not that's still great. Chris Lindstrom, number 1 out of 77 guards in the league. Caleb McGarry, number 4 out of 81 tackles in the league. You can't beat it. The offensive line is looking legit. Now, we got a few questions that we need to ask ourselves. So, number 1, where can this team improve at on the offensive side of the ball? Now, we see a few yellows / oranges on the screen as far as Desmond Ridder, but as far as the offense so far, I need y'all in the chat to tell me, where do you think this offense needs to improve with, or what do you think this offense needs to improve on in 2023 to make the playoffs, to make that deep playoff run? What do you think we need to do? I just want to know what y'all are thinking. So you need to know what y'all are thinking. Tony Wright says 3 seasons ago, we had over 1,200 yards. Then 2020, he tore his ACL. 2021, he had over 770 yards. 2022, 820 receiving yards. I mean, so yeah, we know Cortland Sutton is legit. Like, we know that, and I apologize. Y'all see, I'm gonna be eating some cuties. I'm gonna be eating some, these are my new gummies, these cuties. Yeah, I know I like to eat my gummy bears, Albanese. That's the only way to go. So hold on one second. I want to stop my camera because I don't want y'all to see me taking my Invisalign out. I don't want to gross y'all out. Hold on. As y'all can see, you see that on the screen there, that's Southern Silk. See, first of all, Southern Silk, you already know what time it is. So I'm saying, I'm looking at what a lot of people, they're thinking, some people saying receivers. Jay Moss says receivers. Edward, he said depth, that's all. Melvin, he says pass pro. So he says we need to improve on pass pro. Charles says wide receiver. Melvin, he said, and what up, big? What's going on, Mel? Hope you're doing good, man. D Lawton, he said nothing. I think we good. J Miles said, I think we need to just stop fumbling that ball. Hello. that would definitely help. I don't know if y'all been seeing, they've been saying sleeveless Drake. That's what they've been going with. They've been going with sleeveless Drake. So, hopefully sleeveless Drake he'll be able to do some big things. Now, I think we can say that the running game is going to be the biggest benefit, or what a running game is going to be, what's most influential this season. So this is, Bijan Robinson's PFF. You can see there's a lot of blue and a lot of green on your screen. Now, one thing that we can say is that when it comes to that running game, if I'm not mistaken, TCU, he had a pretty bad game. TCU also played in the college football national championship. Now, what they did when they got there, we all know. But they played in the college football national championship. So the thing is that one thing that I like to do, I like to say, hey, okay, so let's take a look and see what compared to the Atlanta Falcons offensive line, how did that Texas offensive line look, right? Justin Swisher, he said left guard and center. So he wants to improve that running game a little bit more. But, left guard and center. But I like to look to see, I like to compare apples to apples, and I also like to compare apples to oranges. Mind you, I went to a vocational school where my major in particular was agriculture. So we all know there's a whole lots of different types of oranges out there. But the thing is that Bijan Robinson, we think, okay, he played in the Steve Sarkisian type scheme, and it was one of those cases where we know Steve Sarkisian is capable of putting together a legit offense. But what about that offensive line? Let's take a look at that offensive line. Let's take a look at that run blocking. One thing I'm seeing when it comes to the top people on this offensive line in regards to run blocking, wide receiver. Is that a defensive lineman? Devondre Sweat, Bijan Robinson, one of the best run blockers. So as you can see, there's no elite level run blockers on this offensive line. Now, another thing that we could look at is that apparently this team blocked a little bit better in gap or power run blocking opposed to the zone run blocking. So I'm taking a look here. The tackles, the guards, 60s, mid 60s, low 60s, tackle 66 in the zone run blocking. Now you compare that to your Atlanta Falcons and look at what they did in regards to run blocking. It's completely different. It's day and night. In the words of Kid Cudi. Let me see here. Transudo says, what you mean? We already making the playoffs. I think it depends on how Ritter plays, because if he can just deliver the ball here and there, we win it. Oh, yeah, and I agree with you, man. I agree with you. The kids in here, much love to you, man. Much love to you. Appreciate you coming in. He says, I think we have everything we need is just executing on big plays and good play calling. I ain't mad at that. Uncle Steve says, see, I was about to give you a respectful greeting until I saw 3 members of Southern Silk on your picture. Wait, no. See, that's you, Berto, and Smitty. See, that's all y'all. See, I wasn't on the picture. I was taking the picture. That's what it was. Much love to Uncle Steve, man. So let me see here. So moving forward, I just want to take a look at the Atlanta Falcons run blocking. So let's see here. Schedule. All right. So as far as the Atlanta Falcons run blocking numbers, we know they are legit. I mean, look at here. Chris Lindstrom, 93, Caleb McGarry, 91, Chuma Edoga, 84, Matt Hennessy, who is getting benched, 82, Jake Matthews, 69.5. I mean, as you can see, the run blocking is legit. And the zone run blocking, which, was what we run most of the time. As you can see here, look at percentage: 71%, 71%, 80%, 74%. The zone run blocking that we run most of the time, that's where the grades are the highest at. I mean, if you look at the gap run blocking scheme or that power run blocking scheme, I mean, it's still respectable. 82, 70, 67. I mean, it's still respectable, but we know that I think we all know that Bijan Robinson, it's obvious that he's a zone run blocking guy, right? He's a zone run blocking guy. So if we take a look at his numbers as far as the zone run blocking scheme, let me see here. It's one of those cases. Whenever he runs zone, first of all, he ran zone a whole lot more than well, not a whole lot more, 145 to 112. But I mean, if you look at the big play potential that he has, I mean, it's obvious that a zone run blocking scheme would definitely help him. He's a one cut and go guy, and he's an after contact guy. I mean, averaging 4.17 yards after contact compared to what people average in a total run, that's ridiculous. You legit can't beat that. So, I mean, 5.5 yards after contact against Louisiana Monroe, but as you can see, that number came down a little bit when he ran against that SEC school. he ran up against the Alabama Crimson Tide, Bo. DeMarco Hellums probably came through and introduced himself, said, "Hey, I'm going to be your teammate one day." 2.3 yards after contact, which is still good. But I mean, as you can see these numbers here, I mean, it's legit. It's legit. It's very respectable. So I think I agree with y'all as far as the things that the Falcons need to improve on. I can see, maybe improving on that center position, also wide receiver. I know there's been a lot of rumors about DeAndre Hopkins. I haven't had a chance to, actually come on and talk about it, but I'm going to tell y'all something. Have y'all been hearing the rumors about DeAndre Hopkins not being able to run the way that he could in the past? Have y'all heard about these rumors? A few people come out saying, "Hey, DeAndre Hopkins ain't really getting that much separation." That's a red flag. That's a red flag. Shouts out to Willie Doc in here with the first Superman chat of the night. He said, "Appreciate the breakdown, Lo. You already know how we do, Dr. Willie Doc. Dr. Coach Willie Doc. That's that. Da, da, da. That's a Superman chat." Oh, man. Young Middle Face Jamal Zinn says, "What up, Big Low and the coaching staff? Much love to you, Bo. One love." He says, "I think all the pieces are there. Ritter just has to get the ball out to the playmakers." I agree with you. One love says, "I have faith in Mac, especially in the red zone." Yes. So Mac, he's referring to Mac Hollins. I don't know if y'all seen the picture today. He had the hair all everywhere and everything. Thing about Mac Hollins, number one, he's a really good run blocker, but he's just a big kid. I mean, that sounds disrespectful. He's a big player. He's a big player. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's 6'3", 6'4", maybe even 6'4", 221. So he's a big player. Real good run blocking grades, as you can see this past year. Playing up against Houston, New Orleans, he had really good run blocking numbers. I mean, look, to play against a guy like Grabby Daddy and Marshawn Grabbamore, a very physical corner, to have a grade that high, that's legit. You can't beat that. Same thing against Denver, 88 run blocking grade. That's legit. Now, like I said previously, we all know that these grades are just grades. We know that this is a cut and dry kind of situation now. So, don't take it to the bank. Don't be going and say, "Hey, Big Low said we win the Super Bowl because of the PFF grades." All I'm saying is that based off of what we have as far as the offensive line, and we know that offensive line is supposed to help our quarterback and help our running backs. You got a young quarterback, you got a young running back. If that offensive line can perform the same way that it did last year, I legit feel like the division could be ours. Tony Wright says DeAndre Hopkins would not be a good fit for the Atlanta Falcons. I want to ask everybody in the chat, if y'all feel like DeAndre Hopkins is a good fit for the Atlanta Falcons, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like it's one of those cases where it ain't going to work, pineapples, you don't like it, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to know what y'all think. Just want to know what y'all thinking. Yeah, I use that as an excuse so I can finish eating my cuties. Look, if you're watching this stream and you're looking at these PFF grades on the offense and you're getting excited because you like what you're seeing so far, make sure that you hit that like button. If you're excited about this year, make sure that you hit that like button. I would definitely and greatly appreciate it. Definitely. Well, the doc says if you can't run, you can't catch. How many years D-Hop been in the league? Man, it ain't been 10 years yet, if I'm not mistaken. But you're right, Coach. If you can't run, he's good at catching contested passes. But one thing about Football, it's a young man's game. You got to be fast. You got to have that speed. Dibben says the division should be way better this year. And look, it definitely should. I don't know if y'all seen the viral clip of Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask throwing footballs at OTAs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The boys wasn't throwing nobody open. Nobody couldn't catch no passes. It was overthrowing. Like, how you overthrow people back to back and we just out here jogging around? Like, it's ridiculous. One Love, D. Lawton. They said 2 pineapples. They don't like it. Dibman, he says, hey, man, I'll take it all day, twice on Sunday. Jay Harrison in here. What in the world, Bo? He said D-Hop is in the same place Julio Jones was a few years back. He's on the decline with a lack of separation. Plus, he can't stay healthy. It's a no for me. Well, I'm going to tell you, Dre, and also, dun-dun-dun, that's a Superman chat. I'm going to tell you something, Bo. He got caught for PEDs last year before the season. Like, he wasn't taking the PEDs for no reason. Right? Y'all seen the Blue Chew commercials? If you don't got to take Blue Chew, you ain't going to take it. There must be a problem. I'm just saying. You ain't just going to take Blue Chew for the fun of it. Same thing with the PEDs. There must have been a problem. You ain't just going to take PEDs and be like, oh, yeah, I'm already fast. I'm going to get... No. He knew it. The writing was on the wall. Let's be honest. Jalen, Brian Peoples, they say 2. They say pineapples. They don't like it. King, he says 2. Because he wants too many touches. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a run-heavy offense. I mean, just look at this depth chart. I mean, just look at this lineup here. I mean, it's going to be a run-heavy offense. Gutter Golston's in here. Much love to you, Gutter. He says 2. Skylar Thomas, they say 2. Justin Switcher says 1 on a 1-year deal. Okay. I mean, I ain't mad at me myself. He can stay where he at. Tony Wright says Matt Hollins catches everything thrown to him or thrown his way. Look at the film. Oh yeah, I've seen Matt Hollins. That's one of my wide receivers. I plan on warming up with him one day. He lives the barefoot lifestyle. We both live the barefoot lifestyle. One Love says, I like D-Hop in Atlanta. He said, I like D-Hop, just not in Atlanta. And I ain't mad at that. I mean, look, nobody's knocking D-Hop. He's been a heck of a player for a lot of years. Like, he's been one of the top wide receivers in the league for a while. Oh, Tony Wright says Hopkins going to his 11th year. Man, boy, we getting old. we getting old, bro. I thought he was like going into year 8, 8 or 9. 11th year? That's crazy. I remember when he got drafted. Appreciate that, Drake. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those cases where he's taking PEDs for a reason. King Layden's in here. He says 2. Todd Terry, he says 2. They don't like it. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I remember, if one of the coaching staff could somebody tell me, look, is it one of those situations where how old is Corey Davis? How many years has Corey Davis been in the league? If I'm not mistaken, he should be on like year 8 now, right? I could very well be mistaken. Brian People says, Low still dreaming like Christopher Williams. It was just a dream. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up. Oh, man, yeah. What coach is referring to? He's referring to the short video that we did, where it wasn't a dream, Brian Peoples. It was prophecy. Big Low Country could be your next quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. It was prophecy, Bo. All right, man. Let's take a look at this defense. So once again, I go back to it. Now, granted, I seen something on Twitter earlier today. They put the top 10 cornerbacks in the league on Twitter, and AJ Terrell wasn't listed. So okay. We can show you better than we can tell you. That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. Y'all ain't gonna list AJ Terrell? Okay. Don't wake me. I'm Jay. That's it, boy. Y'all ain't gonna listen to AJ Terrell. That's cool. That's cool. So as you see, they have him on here at 63. AJ Terrell, he had an up and down year last year. He dealt with some injuries. He played injured for a few times, and that the whole secondary was banged up, especially whenever we got, especially when we got to that Cincinnati Bengals game. But one thing that we can say about this defense this year is that there are a lot of new names on this starting base defense that we have. So, they're saying our base defense is a 3-4 defense. Ryan Nielsen's come out publicly and said, hey, this is just going to be it's just going to be a multiple front defense. So you take a look here. You got David Onyemata. I'm pretty sure a lot of Saints fans are in here, shedding some tears whenever they seen number 90 wearing red and black. Y'all can get the hate out your heart. He's going to be sacking, that used car that you have down there in the bayou. Then you got baby Grady, baby Jarrett, 71 PFF grade. Calais Campbell, 76. Didn't Calais Campbell look good in that red and black doing that Dirty Bird Bowl? Didn't he look good? Boy, goodness gracious. You still got Lorenzo Carter, Caden Ellis. He's a top 7 linebacker. The thing about Caden Ellis, he's not that much of a coverage guy, but he comes down in a lot of those scrapes, a lot of those stunts, a lot of those switches. He works very well around the line of scrimmage. So Caden Ellis did his thing, and then you got the big signing and Jesse Bates. Those are some of the new guys that we got, and you got Jeff Okudah. Somebody was asking a question about Jeff Okudah earlier in the chat. Now the question to everybody, to all the coaching staff is, what do you feel like this defense needs to improve on going into the season? Like, or what part of the defense do you feel like needs to prove themselves going into this season? Shouts out to Coach Wilder Smith in here. Much love to you, Coach Wilder. Hope you're doing good tonight, fam. Matt Town Duddy's in here. Much love to you both. Hope you're doing good. One Love says, I can't think of 5 cornerbacks better than. Thank you. I can't think. Come on, Bo. 10 cornerbacks? Really? I forgot who I was on the list. But 10 cornerbacks? Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, what position do you feel like still needs some improvement or has to prove themselves going into this 2023 season? And I see Jalen, he's always on top of it. The kids are always on top of it. They said easily that defensive line. Y'all got to show me the baby. We got these big names and we got a bunch of new people, but you got to show me the baby. Also, shouts out to my boy Murph. What more can I say? Top billing. Shouts out to him. He actually did a film study on Arnold Ebiketie. Make sure that y'all go check him out. Where he just showed about how Arnold Ebiketie plays that run very well. And he called himself Dr. Pass Rush. He's going to put together some, hopefully he continues to hone his craft and take that next step. So that's that's the defensive player. Him and Troy Anderson are the 2 young second-year defensive players that I'm feeling really, really good about, and I really want to see their growth. CJ 24/7. See, first of all, much love to you, Bo. Much love to you. Raymond Collins says, "Improve yourself, number 3." I knew somebody was gonna come in with it. I already knew what time it was. I knew somebody was gonna come in talking about the great Michael Walker. Oh man. So the thing about Michael Walker is, and I'm pretty sure people who played linebacker could tell you, first of all, you gotta be thrown off some kind of way to play linebacker, right? Because to a certain extent, everything's moving. all in front of you. You know, some people getting pushed forward, some people getting pushed back, people going all over the place. It's one of those situations where you got to think you just running into a gap. You don't know who's coming at you. You don't know who's moving forward, who's coming from the side. You don't know if somebody's finna run a trap. You don't know if they're running power and you finna meet a left guard up in that hole or in that gap or what. But you gotta be throwed off to play that linebacker position. I couldn't do it. I'm just being completely honest with you. I was a pretty athlete. I ain't scared. I ain't ashamed to say it. Y'all see me. Y'all see me on the field. I was a pretty athlete. But the thing is, I feel like Michael Walker could potentially take a step. Number one, it's one of those cases where he's coming close to the end of his time in Atlanta, especially if he plays bad this year. We don't know if he's gonna make it through training camp, but I feel like it could be that Caleb McGarry effect because at the end of 2021, a lot of people were sitting here looking at Caleb McGarry like, "Hey, you better figure out what you're gonna do. you better figure something out, bro. I don't know what you had planned, but you better." But so look, if you're hoping that Michael Walker can make sure that he plays that linebacker position more effectively and more efficiently, make sure, and you need a way to express it. You know how you can express it? By hitting that like button. You hit that like button for me, I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. Wait a minute, we got Superman chat. Connor Martella says, "What in the world, Bo?" He said, "I've been watching your videos for a while now, but I always miss the live streams. I'm glad I got a chance to catch it. Can't wait for the season, 99 days and counting until the show begins." Hey, Connor, much love to you. I appreciate you for coming on and chilling out with us, man. I'm glad that you got a chance to catch the show, man. That's that. Dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. There it is. There it is. Kind of. Finally got a chance to send me one, man. Much love to you. Matt John Dirty says, "Man, it's good to hear from you again." Matt John, it's good to hear from you, Bo. Much love to you, man. Dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. Much love to my homeboy Matt John Dirty, man. Much love to him. Think about this chat, man. You know, everybody always hit me up and say this is the most interactive and fun and most funniest chats on YouTube because y'all legit come with it. Matt Time Dirty, Tony Wright, and everybody else that comment. Y'all y'all never seem to fail me. So Brian People says, "I still got a question mark, Bo, at that inside linebacker spot." I agree. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't know what PFF was thinking. I wouldn't put Michael Walker as a starter in this. It would have been Troy Anderson all day. I don't know what they were thinking. I legit don't know what they're thinking. Let's take a look at Michael Walker. Let's take a look at him. Let's see how he did. So, number one, we know whenever you get new coaches, new coordinators, new systems, you kind of take a step back, right? You take a step back. Now, one thing that we need to take a look at is this right here. Take a look at week 15 onward. Week 15, 16, 17, 18. Michael Walker lost that starting job. He wasn't getting those snaps no more, Bo. And either it was a result because, let's be honest, we knew Arthur Smith was saying, like, hey, we're in a position to make the playoffs. Now that we're not in a position to make the playoffs, we're going to, see what we got with some of our younger guys, and while we were in the midst of that playoff race, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of us got impatient. I know I did. I was like, man, bump all that, Bo. You might have a Thundercat back there that could legit do the job. Now, here we are, 2023, May 31st. Also, could y'all give Coach Roney a special happy anniversary from Coach Big Low Country? Our anniversary was yesterday. Make sure that you give Coach Roney a happy anniversary. May 30th, it's been 14 years now. She's been dealing with the old coach. And I definitely appreciate everything Coach Roney does for the family, for the coaching staff, for the channel. For me, I definitely appreciate you, Coach Ronnie. I love you, and I hope that you continue to stick with the old dog for many more years to come. Much love to you, baby. But yeah, I mean, as we can see here, 2021, Michael Walker had an overall grade of 71. 2020, rookie year, we were thinking Michael Walker might have been the steal of the draft. 74 overall grade. Then, he took a step back. So one thing that we have to remember is that when it comes to teams like this, we're trying to build depth. Don't be surprised if Michael Walker doesn't end up coming back next season. And he's just a very capable depth guy, right? Because those are the teams that win the championships. Those are the teams that win the championships and help you get to the next level. Brian People said you can't second guess yourself playing that line. See, and that'll be me, Bo, because I'll be stepping forward, then I'll be false stepping, and I'll be like, man, I don't know if I want to go up in here. Oh man. Tony Wright says, I said last month, and I believe that inside linebacker Troy Anderson has the potential to have a great season and make the Pro Bowl in 2023. I agree with you, Coach. Dustin Albert says, linebacker and cornerback, our defensive line is stout. Failure in the AK-47. Can't wait to see how he developed. They have faith in him because they drink. Because they, I guess that because they didn't get another real pass rusher. Okay. And I see that because I know a lot of people were saying, hey, we need to get another guy that could rush the quarterback. A lot of people jumping up and down for Yannick Ngakoue. And we don't know. Somebody else might, end up getting signed by the Falcons. We legit don't know. Bunny's in here says Troy Anderson got them. Man, that boy could pick him up and put him down, can't he, Bo? That boy know he can run. Norman Fitzgerald, what in the world, Bo? Coach Wilder says, happy anniversary, Coach Roney. Thank you, Coach Wilder. 330, happy anniversary, Coach Roney. Melvin Emery, happy anniversary, Coach Roney. MacTown Dirty, happy anniversary. I appreciate that, man. CJ Y247 says, I said it's cold outside like a fireplace. It's cold out there. Raymond Collins says, a step back, I understand. Not two, and then fall. Happy anniversary, guys. Appreciate it, Bo. Judy's in here. Says happy. Thank you so much, Judy. Gutter says happy anniversary, y'all. Brian people. Hey, we appreciate that, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Philip Bonner says, oh yeah, big dog. I'm gonna keep it simple for you. Keep it factual, fresh, and funny. That's why I rock with you. And Coach Roney, happy anniversary. Hey, Philip, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. That's that. Dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. Thank you so much, fam. Thank you so much. Coach Roney said thank you, everybody. So, look, I appreciate y'all for showing Coach Roney some love. Thank y'all so much. But I mean, it's like with that inside linebacker position, I agree with y'all. And I want to ask y'all this question: do you feel like Troy Anderson is possibly going to be the starter next year? If you feel like Troy Anderson is going to be your starter, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like it's one of those cases where they're going to double down on Michael Walker, put a 2 in the chat. I want to know what y'all think because they spent a second round pick on Troy Anderson. There's money tied up in that, Bo. It ain't a situation where it's like, oh, we can just wait till later. No. Excuse me. No. That's a situation where, we got some capital in that situation. You got to make sure that you get the best out of your investment. Oh, man. So, I think the biggest issue Troy Anderson had last year, yes, he has speed. He is fast. But one thing that we have to remember is all fast people can't cover. Sometimes those fast people rely on their speed a little bit too much. And Philip, I can't remember if I did or not, but I do want to let you know that's that. Da-da-da. That's a Superman chat. I couldn't remember if I gave it to you or not, but I definitely appreciate it. Dibben says happy. Thank you so much, Dibben. Thank you so much. D-Law says, Big Low, you're the best Falcons content creator. No one does it like you, Bo. Happy anniversary. Hey, I appreciate that, man. But look, there's a lot of folks out here that's better than me. You ain't never gonna see Big Low Country trying to argue about who's the best Atlanta Falcons content creator. I love all those guys. Wallace, he says yes, one. Trace Uno says one. Judy says one. J Miles says one. We might be running to Boston. Eric Mack says one. Justin says one. Raymond says one. And we running to Boston? D. Lawton says one. All my Spades players, y'all know what the Boston is. Keenan Mouse says one. McCorkle Young boy says one. Robert Bennett, thank you so much, Robert. Thank you. Says happy anniversary. Robert Bennett says one. Ed says happy. Thank you so much. One Love says 1.5. Okay, see, we almost ran to Boston. It was almost one of those situations where we almost had to Boston. It was almost a straight flush. He said 1.5. Troy takes it later in the season. Okay. I ain't mad at that. King Landon, he says one. Philip Bonner, he says one as well. So, okay. I mean, I ain't mad at that. I mean, me myself, I feel like Troy Anderson. I feel like he's going to be the starter. You know, you got too much tied up as far as an investment in Troy Anderson. You also, I think that's just more raw talent in that inside linebacker position. I feel like the way Michael Walker came into the league, whenever he came in out of Fresno State, he felt more like a weak side linebacker to me. He was more like a straight line guy on the edge where he didn't have to worry about a tight end. I mean, moving forward, I mean, he showed up, and I feel like he kind of played inside linebacker his rookie season out of necessity because, I mean, who else was going to do it? I think now we're starting to get to the point where we're saying, hey, think about this, guys. We have options. like we have options now, you know. So moving forward, one option that you have is this young Thundercat here named Jesse Bates, 26 years old. Had a 90 PFF grade in 2020. But let's take a look at Jesse Bates. Let's take a look at Jesse. Where's Jesse? Stop chasing them hoes, Jesse. Shouts out to my homeboy Big Q from the Pro Media Network. Just happy anniversary, my brother Low and Coach Trump. Look, man, much love to you, Big Q, man. I'm gonna call and check up on you after a while, bro. Much love to you. Wait, Dave the Maestro, he says two. He okay, so it's not a Boston. Tony Wright says Low. You mentioned about inside linebacker Michael Walker re-signing and returning to the Falcons, but what about his draft partner, safety Jalen Hawkins? Do you see him returning? As Walker was a 4A and Hawkins was a 4B. No, sir, I do not see Jalen Hawkins returning. I feel like they're gonna go in a different direction when it comes to this this safety room. I feel like the mistakes that he made, especially in that Saints game, the second one, Big Q will tell you. He made mistakes that they were just common sense. Like, why are you making, you know, and maybe I'm just too caught up in it. I don't know. But he was just making mistakes where I'm just sitting here like, come on, Bo. Like, what is you doing, Bo? Come on now. You know good and well you're supposed to play the inside man, right? I mean, I don't know. Don't even get me started because I'm still sore about that whole Saints game. Sore about that whole Saints situation. So looking at Jesse Bates here. So the thing about Jesse Bates, I don't know if y'all had a chance to see it, and I was looking at it while I was talking. So, you know, he played like 90% of his snaps up top on the house in that free safety position, right? And then moving forward, we were saying, everybody was saying that, hey, we got Jesse Bates. We're gonna solidify that back end. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Look at these coverage grades here. The only year, I'm not gonna say the only year because his rookie season, he had an 80 coverage grade, but 2018 and 2020 is the years where he had that elite level, because we're seeing him coming in as the guy who, he's a top 3 safety in the league, right? I feel like there's a reason why Terry Fontenot really tried to shore up the cornerback room. And you might say, well, why is that? Because if you're going to be playing that man coverage across the board, and let's say you're just going to be running cover one, have Jesse Bates just make the decisions up top himself. I mean, y'all seen some of the film. Jesse Bates is one of those situations where he just takes he picks a spot and he just takes it, right? Like he ain't gonna doubt himself. That's another position I couldn't play. I couldn't play safety because I'd be back there backpedaling. I'd be like, oh man, wait a minute, he's breaking off. I'm coming down. No, I want to get burnt over the top, and I just be around there frolicking around, not making no plays on the ball because I'm not being decisive, So that's one thing about Jesse Bates. He's just a very decisive player. But I feel like that's why we shored up the offense. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I feel like that's why we shored up the outside. One of the moves that we made to shore up the outside was this young Thundercat right here, boy. This boy named Clark Phillips. Everybody's talking about how short he is. We ain't worried about that because he got that dog in him. Now, one thing that I like to look at whenever I look at just the season that someone had previously, I like to look at what did they struggle with. One thing that I see is week 7 against USC, whenever he ran up against Addison. I'm pretty sure everybody looked at the highlights whenever him and Addison were going at it so much. Everybody was like, oh man, he was jawing back and forth with Addison. But look at this right here, bro. Oh shoot, I hit the wrong thing. Look at this right here. That week he played against Addison, 44 coverage grade. Also, take a look at this. Gave up 153 yards. 153 yards. Now, some people might look at this and say, hey, this is very alarming. Me, myself, I'm not too worried about it because everybody ain't going to have a great game every week. Unless you Big Low Country. Everybody ain't going to have a great game every week. Also, yeah, think about that. You're talking about a number 1 wide receiver that he was going against. Also, a number 1, possibly the first overall quarterback in next year's draft in Caleb Williams. Heisman Trophy winning Caleb Williams. I'm not even mad at that because the guy's been a dog in every other game that he's played against. I mean, the completion percentage of 62%. I mean, that's pretty legit. That's pretty legit. What's going on, Traveling Charlie? Hope you're doing good tonight, man. Dave DeMaestro says, Big Low, what in the world about happy? Well, I appreciate that, my brother. Definitely appreciate that. Raymond Collins says, Bates calling the shots on the back end is a major upgrade. The stout defensive line we have, the linebacker should be fast. Well, I'm sorry, the linebacker should feast, ready to eat. And I think so. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that I'm liking about Jesse Bates because I love how decisive he is. Right? So cornerbacks, not cornerbacks, but safeties, especially free safeties, are playing that deep man. It's like how do you get a high PFF grade? Because the quarterback is only going to try to take a shot whenever he thinks he has the advantage on you. So how do you get a grade? You see what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not too worried about Jesse Bates' coverage. I think that he's going to be okay. And I feel like his awareness and, telling this young secondary what to do and where to go, whether to play inside technique or outside or, you know, fake like he's coming down and, shading to the hook or, telling, hey, let's run green dog or what have you. I feel like that's what you need to help take this defense to the next level. I feel like another thing that's taking this defense to the next level that a lot of people aren't really paying attention to is this young Thundercat right here. And y'all know I had to see, I keep putting these two guys together, Zach Harrison and Clark Phillips, because y'all know I had a player in the past named Zach Phillips, and I keep calling the young man Zach Phillips. So Clark Harrison is going to be a guy that's going to be backing up Calais Campbell. Look, number one, he had the highest pass grade in Ohio State. I don't like to call them the Ohio State Buckeyes, but that's just me. Had the highest pass rush grade, 85.3. You can't beat that. But let's take a look at Zach Harrison to see what we got going on. So, one of the biggest things that stand out to me, to be playing defensive end is one of those situations where you have to make tackles on that edge, right? You can't be everybody who's played defense, they've heard coaches say, play that outside shoulder, flush people back in. You can't be missing tackles. One thing that I really like about this kid, seems like he doesn't really miss tackles, right? His missed tackle percentage of 10.7. But I really like to see whenever guys have these great pass rushing grades in the Big Ten, because I mean, let's be honest, this is offensive line. This is the conference for the offensive lineman, right? So I mean, he played against Georgia. He got 61 against Georgia, but Iowa, Iowa always have great offensive line. I really don't know too much about the Rutgers offensive line. Michigan State always has a great offensive line. You see that? Michigan, they always have a great offensive line. But I mean, it seems like he consistently did what he needed to do. Now, one thing that I am excited about this kid is his size. He's 6'5", 274. So I feel like he could go ahead and take that next step, be Calais Campbell 2.0. That's the goal. That's the goal. He ain't 6'8", but he's 6'5". So I'm definitely happy about that. So I seen somebody in the chat. They asked me, wait a minute. They asked me about Helms. Wait, where is it at? I thought I seen it. Well, somebody asked me about. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Tony Wright says, Coach Wise, yeah, I think so too. Now he's being asked this season to switch from strong safety to free safety, backing up Jesse Bates. We're set at strong safety, Richie Grant as the starter, and DeMarco Helms as the backup. That's why they drafted DeMarco Helms. Speaking of DeMarco Helms, I got his numbers up here as well. So shouts out to DeMarco Helms. He played for 4 years. He's not a big coverage guy. And you would think with him not being a big coverage guy, he'll be a bigger player. But he's not. 6'1", 203. But we all know that boy know he can hit, boy. Goodness gracious. Take a look at these this run defense grades. 86, 79, 69, 65. And another thing to look at is the fact that his grades got better as his career kept advancing. Grades and numbers look pretty consistent. I'm not mad at it. I feel like I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know if y'all gonna be saying Big Lowe's getting naked or not, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I feel like this is the best draft that we've had in the last 5 years. I feel like this draft is gonna help catapult the Atlanta Falcons into a very, very positive direction. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Now, look, I'm gonna ask y'all what y'all think. Do you feel like this is the best draft that we had in the last 5 years? If you feel like it is, put a one in the chat. If you feel like it's one of those cases where Big Low's getting naked, put a two in the chat. I just want to know what y'all think. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna turn my camera off because I'm putting in my Invisaligns. I don't want y'all to see me and be like, man, come on, Lo. We don't want to see. We don't want to see you put your Invisaligns in. All right, there we go. Yeah, so if you feel like it's one of those cases where this is one of the best drafts in the last 5 years, put a one in the chat. If you feel like it's one of those cases where, hey, I don't know about this one, coach, put a two in the chat. I just want to know what y'all think. Just want to know what y'all think. Raymond, he says, hey, now remember, Lo, AJ struggled his last college game. Maybe Phillips could be that. Hey, he could be that diamond in the rough, boy. We don't know. We don't know. I completely agree with you. Let's see here. Edward Mitchell, he says one. One Love says one. And I think this is why I'm so excited about this season, guys, because it's one of those cases where I think we know, and I think we know the potential that this team has. But I feel like everybody else just has no idea. They have no clue. You know, shouts out to my homeboy, my big brother, Big Q. You see him? He was lurking around in here because he's like, oh man, shoot, them boys, man, them boys might be trying to do something over there in Atlanta. Yeah, Q, we coming for it, bro. Coach Wallace says, but Tony, he could be cut too because Jamal Peters is a big safety that could beat him out. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Raymond Collins, he says one. Yes, sir. Keenan Moss says one. King Layden, he says one. Edward Mitchell says plus the offseason pickups. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Philip Bonner says absolutely, positively, and without question, one. Judy, shouts out to Judy. Judy says one. She says, yeah, it's a case where, yeah, it is what it is. Matt Town Dirty says, does Evans want too much? Man, you know what? It's like I don't know what's going on with Evans. I mean, I seen somebody today said that it could be one of those cases where they might try to get Quan Alexander because he's familiar with the Ryan Nielsen scheme. But I don't know what's going on with Evans. Gutter Ghosted, he says one. JD says got good players and value in the seventh. Yeah, Coach Wallace says one. I mean, I think we just ran to Boston. I think it's one of those cases where we all agree. I mean, I can't think of a draft that's and yes, none of these guys have played a down in the NFL. Yes, I completely understand that, but I also understand that I'm also looking at the potential that this team has because if we look at it, let me see here. If we look at it seriously and we look at the just the overall health of the team. First of all, you think about let's say if you go back to the previous years, when have you ever had a situation where you had this kind of depth? I can't think of it. I can't think of it. And then it's like you come back with the draft and you got, Matthew Bergeron, you got Javon Gwynn, you got Bijan Robinson, you got Zach Harrison, you got Clark Phillips, you got all of these guys, DeMarco Helms, you got all of these guys who, are going to help you take the next step. So and we could go back and look at previous years. Let's say we go back and look at last year. Hold on 1 second. So you go back and look at last year. I mean, yeah, you had Desmond Ritter. But then you had Drake London, Desmond Ritter, Drake London, Tyler Algier. I mean, you also did have Arnold Ebiketie. Where's Arnold Ebiketie at? Okay, on defense. Yeah, Arnold Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone, Troy Anderson. I mean, that's a pretty good draft. That's a pretty good draft. I ain't gonna lie. Let's look at 2021. See, I know that Uncle Steve somewhere is sweating profusely, getting naked because Felipe Franks is on here. But you got Felipe Franks and Frank Darby, Caleb Huntley, Kyle Pitts, which was the big splash move. I'm not even going to say number 77's name because I don't want y'all to, throw no tomatoes at me. Then on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, you got Richie Grant, Dorian Etheridge, who could very well be in that linebacker room as well. Taquan Graham, a lot of people sleep on Taquan Graham, and Ogundeji, who, I think he ranked 116 out of 119 on PFF, which is absolutely horrendous. So I feel like that 2022 and 2023 draft was legit. You go to 2020, AJ Terrell, Michael Walker. We didn't draft Jeff Okudah. Matt Hennessy, who had a productive year for us last year. I mean, we could, say we want better as much as we want to, but Matt Hennessy was legit last year. I mean, so I think I think it's one of those situations where you have to acknowledge that this team is doing nothing but taking the step in the right direction. Matt Tom Dirty said nothing but good talk about. Man, I know people in the building. Everybody saying, look, Bergeron is better than we thought he was going to be. He's better than we thought he was going to be, from what I'm hearing now. And I could very well be wrong, but people are saying Bergeron is legit. They said he is legit, that dude. 2019, you got Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry, Scotty Miller, and Caden Ellis. They got drafted by other teams. But I mean, I think what the theme of this particular portion of the show is saying. D Law says, I was washing dishes. What was the question? So the question was, I was basically saying that I think this draft is going to be one of the best drafts in the last 5 years. If you feel like it is one of the best drafts or the best draft in the last 5 years, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like it's not, put a 2 in the chat. 2018, I don't know what happened. But the thing is, these are the people who are still on the team. So that's probably why all these people ain't listed. And you don't want that to be the case. 2018 to come around, 2017 to come around, and the only person that you drafted, and think about it, we didn't even draft Cool. We got Cool from what? The Chargers, right? Then San Diego. It's like you want to be a situation where you could go back 6 years and somebody is still on your team that you drafted or who was drafted that year. You want to go back to 2016 and somebody was drafted on your team, David Onyemata, who was drafted by the Saints. That's what you want. You want to go back to 2015 and have somebody besides Grady Jarrett be drafted on the team. I mean that's going pretty far back because we know that was the team of the rookies that helped propel us to the Super Bowl. But there were a lot of rookies on that Super Bowl team, from the Jalen Collinses to the Grady Jarretts to the Devondre Campbells. There were a lot of rookies on that team. I don't think Vincent Taylor's still on the roster, Raymond. I don't think so. Shouts out to Stephon Mosley. I see you in here, Bo. Much love to you, man. Much love to you. D. Williams says we improved the most out of every team in the NFC South. The NFC period. I agree with you. I agree with you. And the crazy thing is that we almost won the division. We almost won the division. D. Lawton says, 2023 best draft. I love all the picks. I feel you on that one, Bo. Shouts out to you, Brandon Levy. Much love, Bo. I see you in here. I know that you got them scissors. Brandon Levy, you probably gonna be at the first look on Friday. Ty Terry's in here says, we could be the Georgia Bulldogs of the that's the goal. Coach Wilder says, I think our last two draft classes have been better than the last 5 years also. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, man. It's so I mean, at the end of the day, whenever we look at this Atlanta Falcons team, I think whenever we say, hey, like we should be respected, I don't think it's a situation where we're coming out of left field, right? I don't think it's a situation where we're coming out of left field. Think about it. You were 8th overall, tied for second overall on offense and PFF grades. Once again, PFF isn't the end all be all, y'all. I'm not saying that, it is what it is with PFF. But one thing that I am saying is that you were second overall with Marcus Mariota as your quarterback. You went 7-10 with defense tied 27th in the league in PFF grades on defense. You were 7-10 with that. So just imagine if you have competent quarterback play. Just imagine if you could get to the quarterback on defense. Just imagine if Taquan Graham doesn't fumble the ball whenever we're tied with 2 minutes left in the game. Just imagine if Tom Brady gets sacked and he just gets sacked and they don't call a personal foul. That's all I'm saying at the end of the day, guys. So you had all of those things working against you last year. Now, moving forward, the team is better. I mean, am I just coming out of left field with this? Am I getting naked? Am I being a fanboy? Or is it one of those situations where I'm legit telling the truth? Because if you look at this offense from last year, you just take a look at this off. Yeah, that's it, Brian. Yeah, Drake's his late fumbles. yeah, Drake. Sleeveless Drake London. But you just look at this offense. Who would have thought you would have got that kind of production out of McCole Pruitt? So you think McCole Pruitt doing something big? Just imagine Kyle Pitts. I mean, we seen what Drake London was capable of once he had a competent quarterback. It was night and day. It was night and day. Look at the last 4 weeks. That's all you got to do. Look at the last 4 weeks compared to especially the middle of the season whenever Marcus Mariota was legit stinking the joint up. But look at it. 87, 70, 86, 67. That's right, the unicorn. Beginning of the season, especially in LA, like Drake London went off. That's when everybody was like, "Oh man, I think Drake is that guy." I think Drake is that guy. Passionate from miles away, passionate from things you say. I hear you now. Well, yeah, man. Now you look at it. He's been in the NFL for a whole nother season. He's used to the speed of the game. He can handle the physicality even better. He has rapport with the quarterback. I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, Drake London's gonna be some problems. I don't know how many of y'all played play fantasy football. But one thing I can tell you is that I'm seeing a whole bunch of reports of Bijan Robinson being taken first overall. I'm sitting here like, our Falcons have a player that's they talk about taking first overall? What in the world? That's where we at, Bo. This is where we're at now. This is the new normal. You're gonna start to have players who hopefully strike fear in the hearts of people, but not only that, it's like it's multiple players. So you have the Kyle Pitts, you have the Drake Londons, you have the Bijan Robinsons, you have hopefully the Desmond Ritters, you have the Cordero Pattersons, you have those guys. So it's just one of those situations, man. JJ says, what's happening, coach? I didn't miss the last couple of streams. Like, nah, Bo, you good. We didn't even get a chance to come on here last week. Brandon, you said, hey, man, I was just getting ready to get off of here, B. Maybe one of these times in the future we could get together, Bo. Maybe one of these times in the future. But look, man, I appreciate everybody for coming on and chopping it up with us. Thank y'all so much for the anniversary wishes and the congratulations and everything. 14 years. 14 years. Coach Roney first got with the old dog. I was a boy. I was, there was a lot of things that I had to learn. She helped the boy turn into a man, and I definitely appreciate that. But look, we're gonna be putting out some videos soon. I want to thank everybody for chilling out and watching the show with us. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are some great Falcons fans. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share the channel with your friends and family. You do those things for me, I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. As a matter of fact, we just got invited to a wedding in October. So we just got invited to a wedding. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time. We're ready for the season. We're gonna be all over the place with the Rise Up tour, and we're gonna be at the home games. It's gonna be a good time, and hopefully we're gonna be winning. So look, man, I need y'all to make sure that y'all stay safe. Please don't do anything that I would do. And in the meantime, man, y'all take it easy. What in the world, Bo? We ready.